last video. In this one we're gonna go and take a dive through the ruins. So as I said in the last video, we've decided to start with the quick descent mode without the optional start, which means that if we want to start from a higher level, so if we want to go and not do the first level enemies, because for example we enjoy more fighting with the second one, then we are able to add a little bit of XP for us for each enemy type, well, level. So for example, if I remove level enemy 1, where are we? Then I add 16 experience points, but I remove 18 cards from the draw them. I put them here, like that. But I've decided to just start from the basics, and we're gonna make a try to beat the game. So I'm gonna have my gameplay example here because it will probably be handy. So first of all, we're gonna have to move from one of those 3 icons. We need to choose a way, a path we start from, as according to the how paths work. And we aren't able to move back through the empty spaces, basically the spots that we already been in. Okay, so let's try. So I'm gonna take the player token, and I'm gonna start with an event. So I'm putting it here. I'm taking one of the cards from the event pile, and we have a discovery. So many items are still kept in hiding by this armory. To search, make a fate toss. So fate toss is when you take the dice, roll it, and check the outcome. But discovery gives you an option to not toss the dice, because if, for example, you're low on health, or you're just not willing to do so, you don't want to risk losing anything, or the gain is too small for you at that time, then you are able to just skip it and increase the blight by 2. We're gonna go and do the roll and see what will happen. Okay, so it's a fail. So when we fail, we remove 4 draw deck cards. So we're gonna take 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and remove them here. Okay, the cards have been removed. This card has been resolved. So I put that here. After resolving the token, which is this, we count how many icons there is. This one has 1. So I'm gonna be increasing my blight, which is this, by 1. As more blight we gather, the harder the difficulty for us will become during this pass, until we defeat the boss, then it zeroes out. So after we've completed, resolved the whole token, turn it around, and it doesn't have anything. Usually the ones might not have anything because they would be too easy to get. Okay, so we put that away, and now we can decide if we want to go from left, well, to the left or bottom. I see 3 events, and I see a rest. I don't want to rest right now because I won't have any gain with it, and I would gain 1 blight, which isn't the greatest. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go to the C2. So I'm gonna take those 3, move my token below, and I'm going to resolve 3 events. First one is another discovery, and it gives me an option to remove 3 Blight or gain 2 Blight. So if we aren't able to remove 3 Blight, we remove what we have. So if we have 1, then we have only remove 1 Blight. Or we can gain 2 Blight. For now, it's kind of stretch, so I'm just gonna skip it and increase Blight by 1 as per card. So the card says to skip. So I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna put it here. And I'm gonna go and increase my Blight by 1. That's the first one. The second one is another event, and it's an obstacle. So, those are treated as enemies. On first level, the enemy indicates the level we are on, so it says level 1. The obstacle might gain additional health on higher levels. So if we have below +2 per level, that indicates that to add additional points of health per additional level. So if we're on level 1, we don't add anything, but if it's level 2, the weak doors obstacle will have 4 health. And currently it has 2 health. So if I defeat this obstacle in 1 turn, I receive 1 experience. If I fail, I remove 1 health or experience to resolve this card. And that are the only 2 options. So if I fail, I remove 1 health or experience point, or I just beat it. So I'm going to try and beat it. I see that it has only 2 health, but it has also vulnerability of 1 and 1 to spells, million spells. So I'm just going to go and look at my max attacks. So for solo it is 3, for a co-op it might be different. So the max attacks 3 means that I can use 3 cards in 1 turn to deal damage, defend, or well, just try having as much defense. So I'm going to try and attack. So fortunately we have 2 focus cards. This will be a little bit of a waste, but I just want to show you that we have 2 focus cards, and that basically means that if you attack your target with another focus card earlier this turn, deal 2 additional damage. So if we are going to use this card, we're going to use then this card, which means that this will deal 3 points of damage, because 1 plus 2 for on focus, because we already used 1 focus card. It needs to be done in the same turn. This will be a waste, so I'm not going to do that. It's just an example. But I'm going to go and use this card, which has sense. Increase damage dealt by this card to a single target by the number of blind cards in your hand. So if I don't have any blight cards, which are those, I deal only the standard amount of damage. So I deal 1 damage, I take 1 token, the 1 token, and add it here. Another one, another attack will be just a standard melee attack, and it deals 1 point of damage. How to look at damage? Damage has its own leveling, so 1, 2, and 3. Underneath there are small diamonds. this melee card because it's red and has swords. That means that you look at melee tier and it shows you 1. This one correlates to this one. If you level up, you are able to use all of your cards are upgraded basically for melee, and you deal maybe an increased amount of damage, but not always. Then you deal 2 damage instead of 1. When you upgrade it to the last 3rd tier, you deal the maximum amount of damage on that card. Here it is 4. Currently we are on tier 1. Same rule applies for spell tier, and using the other card we dealt 2 damage in 1 turn. If we would do if the card had 4 health and we did only 2 in 1 turn, then on the 2nd turn we would lose to it and we would have to remove 1 health or 1 experience point. But fortunately we've managed to do it, and now after we defeated it, before we get the experience points, we have to think which card to store. That's another functionality of this mechanics, is that once you use your cards, you are able to save some of them for later. So we take a look at stored action cards. Place all stored and bought cards for future use. Stored action cards has also correlation to store cards. This is the amount of cards you're able to store each turn when you use them. So if I use 2 cards, not 3, because my max attacks is 3, I am able to use 1, 2 or 3 attacks per my turn. I decided to use 2, which means that I am able only to store 1 card as per my store cards trait. So I decide, and I think it will be better to use this one and save it, and I'm going to remove this one. Now I add my cards to full hand, which is 6, and I take this card, put it away, and add 1 experience point for it. If you have troubles, you can always, if you have troubles remembering it, you can take out one of the co-op player boards, and on the back of it you have a nice schematics. It's very accurate, and I can show you how to use it right now. So I'm going to put it here. Sorry, my table is not so small, but I have to record this area, so I have other bunch of the games to the left side and with my monitor on it, so I can see actually what's visible. Sorry, but hopefully you'll understand. So we've managed to resolve 2 icons. We are left with the 3rd one. Small rubble. Defeat this obstacle in 1 turn to receive 1 experience. If failed, remove 1 draw deck card to resolve this card. I think we can take it. I could use only 1 card to defeat it, but I know that this might be a good one to use later with this one. So I'm gonna spend those 2 cards. So 1 and 2. And it deals 2 points of damage to that one. We've managed to defeat it. I'm going to save this one, as we again use 2 cards and you can only store 1. Remove this one. We add additional cards and we add 1 point of experience as per the card's description. So we've done that. that was our third token. So we are going to turn it around, and we have a side quest. Gain 3 experience points in an encounter. Our reward will be -1 Blight. I'm gonna take it, so I'm gonna put it here. This is our active side quest area. Okay, so we are now here. We have enemy icon, which basically guarantees us that we're gonna encounter an enemy. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take a look in front of us. So I have only 2 experience points. I think I'm gonna just go here. So I'm gonna take and move here. I could have also moved here, but I want to do more events for now. So I'm gonna have an encounter. So let's go with these. So we've chosen and connected an adventure token from the next row of the map. We did. Now we go to resolve adventures. So depending on what we have on our icons first, we're gonna go with encounter. Yes, we have encounter. So we drop the number of enemies indicated by Blight track and set the starting defense trait. So we have currently 2 enemies. 2E equals enemies. So I'm gonna go and draw 1 and 2. So we have 2 enemies in the area. One of them, they are the same ones, but one of them has first strike ability. The parasitic muncher deals 1 extra damage during its first attack. So when the enemy enters combat, first strike enables the enemy to deal additional point of damage. Now, encounter round starts. Player turn begins. So we start first. So we make sure that we have our starting defense set to starting defense and our hand filled to 6 cards we have. Now, player uses action cards, skills, and deals damage or pays the cost for each enemy to retreat. So the cost would be you have the feed icon on each of the enemy, except the special ones such as bosses, event enemies, and Slay the Spire special enemies. So we're gonna go and take the time, and I'm gonna go for a quick win against this one because I know he will be able to deal damage to me. If I didn't kill him right now and left him, I'm gonna go and show you 2 different versions. So first version is I'm gonna use this, defeat him, and I'm gonna defeat him because he has 2 vulnerability, 2 spell, and this card has 2 damage for the spells. So how to count it? You basically multiply it. So 2 damage times 2 vulnerability equals 4. If it's 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so he has 4 health, and we would defeat the enemy. So we're gonna defeat the enemy. So we're gonna put it aside, and we're gonna receive 1 experience point once he's defeated. Okay, so we're gonna go add 1 experience point on our tracker. We've used up this card, and we have another enemy. Fortunately, we have another card like that, so I'm gonna go and use another one. This enemy has been defeated also. Easy peasy. Now, I'm gonna go back and show you what would happen if I decided to run. So if I decided to run, I count the number near the foot icon, which is basically retreat, and this one has 1 and this one has 1. Those value I basically take from the draw deck, so 1 for each, 2 cards, I remove them, and the encounter is over. Put the enemies aside, I don't gain any experience from this, but later on I will gain Blight from this token, because it kinda is a resolved scenario, well, not scenario, but resolved adventure. Okay, but I'm gonna go with my choice, of course. So I'm gonna go back, add myself 2 experience points, and those 2 cards I'm gonna go and this one I'm gonna put here, and this one here, fill up to 6, and we have it. So that would go on. Maybe we'll find some harder enemies during the way. So we've completed the so we resolved it. We repeat the schematic that's written here. If I wouldn't defeat the enemy, it would be his turn, and they would be able to deal damage to me. I'll show you later on when we fight again. So now, repeat until either retreated or the player or the enemies are defeated. We have defeated the enemy, so we're gonna go lower, and we have resolving adventure. Adventure resolved. If it was an event, put the card onto resolved event pile. Have all adventures been resolved on the adventure token? Yes. So add Blight for each icon on the adventure token that has been resolved. 1 icon, token resolved. Turn token around, nothing. So I put them away. We go back, start a new explorer phase. So I go back. So and choose connected adventure token from the next row on the map. So we're gonna do the same, and I prefer to go here. So we're gonna go lower. We have this, and now we're gonna go and take an event card. Okay, so first one will be event. So we solve adventures, event. The player draws an event card. So I'm going to take an event card. You see a man roaming through the corridor ahead with a suspicious black mark on his face. We have 2 options: to ambush or to avoid. I'm going to go with the ambush option, because on the other one we would lose 3 DD. DD stands for draw deck cards, and we would just gain 1 Blight basically. But I really want to get the other option. I think that actually I might have forgotten about no, it's here. Okay, never mind. So we're gonna go with the ambush option, which is plus 3 experience points. So 1, 2, 3, but we increase Blight by 2, 1 and 2. And I think we forgot to add 3 for that. So we need to actually increase 1, 2, 3. as we've completed this one, we moved through the points on the experience tracker, well, one of them, which means that we gain one skill card, and you gain it only once per game. So each time you pass for the first time through those points, you get a skill card. So we have a misdirect. Spend an amount of draw deck cards equal to retreat value of an enemy to discard it from the encounter without awarding any experience. So it's basically we can pay one card to discard an enemy from the bunch. We won't get any experience, but we can get rid of the ones that are more problematic for us. Okay, I just noticed that it was too low, the board and the stuff, so don't worry. Okay, so now we are doing the second one. So as per the scheme, we haven't resolved all adventure tokens. You go back and resolve adventures again. It's encounter, so we draw that many enemies as per the Blight track. So we're gonna go and draw 2 enemies, 1 and 2. So this is a perfect example where we wouldn't be able to run straight away because this enemy doesn't have the retreat icon and value, while this one has 2. So we would have to defeat first this enemy in order to run from this enemy. Okay? So, encounter round starts, player turn begins, refill hands to 6 cards, we have them. We already have our starting defense at 1. So, player uses action cards, skills, and deals damage. Okay, so we deal damage. So, I'm going to go and use a card with attack potential. Here you should be able to see there's a diamond-shaped icon which correlates to character level, which means basically that you imagine having the number of your trait in this position. So increase the damage value of this card attacked by character level, which is 1. So we increase the damage of this card by 1. Our melee tier is 1, so and we deal 1 damage. We add 1 for the character level. This card deals 2 damage. But to who? I see that they both have different abilities. So when the fleshling deals damage, add a blinded card to the targeted player's stored action card spell. So I would take this card and put it into my stored cards. This one has, when the defect deals damage, take the top removed action card and deal mid-tier damage to the targeted player. So this sounds a little bit more dangerous, but this hits with stable damage all the time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take this off the board first. So I'm gonna use this one. It deals 2 damage to him because he only has 1 vulnerability, so that's 2. Now we use the same card on him, or no, I'm going to use the focus we are using the first focus card, which makes him at the third point of damage. And now we're gonna go and use another focus card. This will add 3 points of damage in total. So basically 6. I can just switch this one around and put this one away. Okay? So this one has 6 points of damage on him. We used up all of our max attacks. And I'm going to decide which one to save. I'm going to save the one with attack potential for later. And I'm going to put those to removed. Okay? I've used all of the cards. Enemy turn begins. Enemies use skill and deals damage. The player receives damage to defense first and health. So they attack from left to right. So the defect acts first. So he deals 1 point of damage to me, right? So he dealt 1 point of damage. I'm undefended, and when defect deals damage, take the top removed action card and deal mid-tier damage. So I'm gonna take top removed action card, which is this one, and mid-tier damage is 2. So he deals additional 2 points of damage to me. 1, 2. Okay. So he's done with his turn. Now Fleshling deals damage, and that means that he attacks for 2 points of damage, which brings me down to only 2 health. And we have to get the blinded card. Okay, so we're gonna take the card and add it to stored action cards pile, which is here. Now it's our turn. The player decides which used action cards to store and removes the other used cards. I already did that, so it doesn't really matter. You go back and encounter begin, round starts. Player draws up to 6 cards in hand. I have only 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I have only 2 points of health, so I'm very close to be defeated. And I'm going to what I can do. Okay, I'm actually gonna go and use the misdirect card on Fleshling because I don't want to risk him surviving, because that would end my game. So I'm going to spend an amount of draw deck cards equal to retreat value of an enemy to discard it from the counter without awarding any experience. So I'm going to go and pay the cost of 2, remove those 2 cards. This goes away, but he also goes away, and my problem is done. Could have done it turn earlier, but you know. So now my options are: we can use finishing move, because that would gain me some health, because he's only at 1 point of health. So if I defeat him now with the finishing move, I would gain equal amount of health and experience up to max, which is up to the I cannot exceed the values on the traits that I have for my level. So you already seen this, it's the same icon that I've had for the other card, attack potential. So we have a character level icon, and that means that I would gain 1 health and 1 experience point if I defeat him with this card. I'm going to do so. So I'm going to go and use this card to defeat him. It's going to be his 7th damage. His damage is equal or higher than 7, the enemy has been defeated. I gain 3 experience points, 1, 2 and 3, okay. I only spent 1 card this turn, so I can start safely without losing any other ones. I take the additional cards, I have 6. I gain 1 experience points from this card I've used. So 1 character level, 1 health back, and 1 experience point up. Okay? So I usually revert to my starting defense after each encounter, after each encounter and all the things happening here, just not forget about doing it later on. And it doesn't really matter if you do it now or if you do it before event encounter or whatever. Okay, so now the other thing, we've received 3 points of experience from that one enemy, and we have a side quest. Gain 3 experience points in an encounter. However, reward would be -1 blight. So I'll take that, take this, put it back to the right side, and third one is rest action. Well, basically rest, but it's a place where you do rest actions. So we are resolving events and spend experience points on trade upgrades by choosing an upgrade of a higher level and paying the cost to unlock it. Which basically means that for upgrading to character level 2, I have to pay the cost that's inside of this socket here, which is 10 experience. I would then gain, for example, for attack potential, an increase of damage by 2 instead of 1 that I had. False fault here, if I increase that, well, of course I can because I don't have that many experience points, but I could then use from the middle tier damage. Same for melee here. If I proceeded on it, this would do 2 damage, those will deal 1 only. Max attacks, that would be an interesting one, but I still don't have that much experience. It would allow me to use 4 attack cards instead of, well, 4 action cards instead of 3. Store cards, that might be good because if we run out of cards and we aren't able to, at some point in the game after shuffling stored action cards and putting back here, gathering 6 cards here, we also lose. So we can go and check the next one, which is max health. That is a good one. It would increase my health to maximum of 8. If I level up, so if I would take this one, so my starting health is 6 and I would gain additional 2. I would just add the difference here, but I would also be able to heal back up to 8 health. Okay, let's go back. Starting defense, that's a cool one. This would increase my starting defense to 3. Good for trying to soak out a bit more damage, but if your health is low, it can be problematic too. So we have also rest actions, which basically means that we pay a certain cost to receive a certain effect. So we can use them as many times as we want, as long as we paid the cost for each of those. So we have heal ones. We pay 2 cards, draw deck cards, and we then heal 1 and not above base health value. Increase immunity, which if we had an immunity, well, vulnerability. So for example, if we find one, so here for example, all vulnerabilities start from 1, but there are enemies that can increase it. So for example, if my base vulnerability would be increased to 2. I would put it here. And there are 2 ways to remove it. One way is to spend 4 draw deck cards and to remove it by 1. So if we had 3, I would spend 4 draw deck cards to drop it to 2 and another 4 to drop it to 1. Okay? But there are also cards with that ability, so you can remove it while you are in the dungeon somewhere without the rest being there for you. Now we have buy action card. Shuffle your removed action cards. So you basically shuffle those cards here from your removed action cards pile, right? And then draw 3 cards. Take a look at them and pick one. And put them in your store action cards. Okay. The fourth one is remove card. So we can search through our stored cards or in our hand, and we can, for example, I could pay 1 experience point. So these 2 are using experience points instead of draw deck cards to receive an effect. So I would remove, for example, Blight card. They would go back to their respective deck. Or I could remove some weaker cards that for example, I'm on melee tier 3 and I would have some weak cards that aren't usable for me. I can remove that too, then they would go to removed. Or I could remove some cards from my hand, but I don't want to do that right now. So I have 11 points of experience, and I'm gonna go and increase my starting defense for 6 experience points. So 11 minus 6, 5. Now my starting defense is 3 as per this value. Now I have 5 experience points left. I cannot afford to do anything else here, but I'm gonna go and spend my draw deck cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to spend 6 draw deck cards to heal by 3, a maximum of 6. Okay, that's my second action. And my third action would be to pay 1 experience point and remove this card. Okay, so I have 4 experience points left. I have full health, I have additional starting defense, I'm ready to go further. Okay, so we have resolved all of the tokens. You resolve them basically from as the small arrows on the token go, so from top to in a clockwise position. Probably should have said that earlier, but I hope you get my drift. And we've managed to resolve all of the 3 tokens. Our rest phase adventure is over. We turn it around on the backside, and we have a side quest, defeat a boss, and we get 6 draw deck cards, which is fortunate because we are just a few steps away from the first boss. To be honest, I'm not really sure we can take it on, but you will see why. Okay, so I could go here too, but I prefer to go here because I'm not really sure about the various events, if it's good for me right now. I think I have 1, 2, I'm gonna go, because that would add 4 Blight and then it would be more enemies, and there are some pretty serious ones. As fast as we go through those cards, we're gonna start going through level 2 enemies, which is problematic because this goes along with, as long as you stay in the tunnel, in the ruins, then, and as many cards you take per each turn. So if I stayed long and just roamed around here, I would end up taking 4 enemies at once. Okay, So I'm gonna go move here. I don't need the rarest one, but still an easy encounter for me at this stage is good. Okay, so again, exploring finished. So resolving adventures, we're gonna take an encounter. We're gonna take 2 enemies. Have I increased the Blight from these? I'm not really sure, but probably not. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have 3 enemies. It's hard to kind of remember this thing when I'm looking also at the monitor above and trying to maintain that everything is in position. Sorry about some smaller hiccups, but hopefully you will get the general idea. And now we're going to take an action, well, not action, but the adventure icon. So we're going to take 3 enemies, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have 3 enemies. And now, that will be cool. Okay, so as these are from attack from left to right, I'm gonna pick one that is more problematic. So I'm gonna try a stun action on the one that deals 2 damage. So an effect of this action card is stun. So your target can attack this turn. There is an icon here with a success. So it basically means that I do a fate dice. So first I use this card, I deal 1 point of damage to him as per my damage. But he has vulnerability of 2, which is 2 damage instead of 1. And now we use the effect. So it was success. The enemy is stunned, so he won't be able to attack this turn. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to use this card, which has an additional ability, Shatter. After using this card to remove it, because it's pretty powerful at the beginning, so I'm going to use it at this enemy. And he's gonna be left with, so I cannot store this card, it goes directly to removed. And he receives 3 points of damage. 1, 2, 3. 3 points of damage. And now he has only 1 health left. So I'm gonna go and do swipe, which has an ability to deal damage to 2 adjacent targets. So if I'm attacking this one, well, it will be probably preferable to attack this one, because then all of those receive damage. So I'm gonna take 1, 2, and 3. So 1 damage, 2 damage, and 1 damage. The damage type for the effect is basically the same as for the entire card. So you use this one. Okay, so we have defeated this enemy, but did we? This enemy has an ability called Raise. When the raised swordbearer is defeated, make a fate toss. If successful, restores 2 health points usable once. So we take the fate dice, roll it, success, success. That means that the enemy is still alive, but has only 2 health. Okay? And that's it. enemy turn begins. Now we start from left to right. So this enemy deals 1 point of damage to me. Okay, done. I've taken -1 on defense. I cannot decide if I want to take health or defense. First, it always goes to your defense. After I become undefended, which is this icon, it means that I start losing health. Next, when the Wraith Bowbear is defeated, so he has the same ability, but he is stunned, so he isn't able to do anything. So I'm gonna put this away. His turn is skipped, and Parasitic Muncher with no ability attacks me, so I lose 1 defense. Now I decide which one to. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this one. The turn when you should decide when to start certain things. It doesn't really matter if it's after your turn or before your turn. You can do it however is easier for you. So I'm taking 3 cards, fill up my hand up to 6. Okay, we have increased focus, and that's there. So you may reduce your health by 4 points to not deal any and receive any damage this turn. So it basically ends the combat. Okay, increase focus. Spend 1 defense point to increase the damage of all focus cards played this turn by 1. We have also increased focus, but unfortunately it's again the same one, and it isn't the focus card that we used earlier, and those imply to use those and not the ones with this ability. Okay, so we have still 3 enemies. We can run. They have only 1 point of retreat value each, but I think I can take them. So I'm gonna go and use the attack potential card to defeat this enemy. Now his ability isn't working anymore, so because it says usable once, so he is defeated. And I received 2 experience points. Again, I won't benefit from this as this already have been used, so I already taken my skill card. Okay, so we use this one. Put those aside. Now we have the Raised Bowbear. So I've used 1 card. I could probably take him on. This is a really usable card, but if I go to the boss area later on, I won't be able to use it on him. Because he will probably just straight up kill me. Okay, so I'm going to I'm just gonna use this card, and it will going to be his 5 damage. So let's roll for his raise ability. So he's a 5. Cool, he's dead. He's defeated. I receive 2 experience points. 1 and 2. Okay. Whenever you add the experience points, this doesn't really matter either. You just add it. It can sometimes be helpful, but in a marginal way. Okay. Now it's this one, so I'm just gonna spend another one of these to just straight out defeat him, because he has 2 vulnerability. I deal 1 spell damage, which means that he's defeated. I gain 1 health experience, sorry. So So we have those 3 cards. I'm gonna leave the attack potential, and I'm just gonna add straight up 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Now we are at rest again. Second icon. And I have 9 experience points. The ideal thing would be to either get melee or spelled here. So I'm just gonna not do anything. I'm just gonna go back to my starting defense. So I don't forget. And I'm not gonna do anything in my phase. So we complete this one, we increase Blight 1, 2. We switched around, upgrade to tier 2 trait and -3 Blight. Isn't really helpful right now because we are at the end and I'm not going to do anything with it. Okay? I have to go here because if I don't get the spell tier or mini tier or at least a character level, I won't be able to surely defeat the boss, I think. Unless I am super lucky. So let's go here. So I take this, the token here, and the first one is event. So I'm gonna go take an event. Decision. You found an unconscious man on the ground. What do you do? I can rub or help him. So if I get to, I'm still at the end going to have 4 enemies at once. So I'm just gonna go for, let's rub the dude. Okay. 2 Blight, 1 and 2. Plus 2 experience points, 1 and 2. Okay. So now we have rest. I will still have to go here to at least prepare myself a little bit better for, but this might be really hard because I will have 2 encounters with what to do. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm gonna go straight to the encounter. So 3 enemies, and okay, let's take them 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So we have Curtis Spider with melee weakness. So if we are undefended, which means basically that we are out of armor, the melee weakness is applied to us. If we lose, for example, if he deals 2 damage and we are only on 1 here, this is resolved after the damage. So if he has us for 2, so 1 and 2, he dealt 1 point of damage to us, this applies. Okay? We had it at 3. The other one is disarm. Any damage dealt to us is basically going to be removing 1 card from us, from our draw deck, which isn't great because if we run too fast then we might be in trouble. And now, okay, and the similar enemy as we had last time, raised bowbearer. So I'm afraid the most of this enemy because he deals 2 points of damage and also he applies melee weakness, and all of those enemies are melee, so each of these would deal double the damage. So this one would deal 4, this one would deal 2, and this one would deal 4. So I need to think my way how to help myself here. So I'm gonna use stun on this enemy. Let's see if that works. It worked, fortunately. So we apply stun and 1 point of damage because only this enemy has some kind of ability, and it is for me. So we have some time to kind of try mowing him down. So we're gonna go and use this card on this enemy. This card has improve ability, which is this turn increase the tier of the next action card played by 1. This card deals 2 spell damage, and action card without any ability we have is this one. So if I use next this card, it will deal much more damage. But I'm not going to use it on this one. I'm actually going to try and use it on this one. So I'm using that one, and let's hope it will be enough to kill him, because this card now uses the increase the tier of the next action card. So our current tier is 1, which means we jump to 2, and then we would do 2 damage to him, but he has 2 vulnerability. 2 times 2 equal 4. Okay? Or actually, okay, let's just defeat this one, because I'm not really sure that I won't be having enough damage for the last one, because I have 3 max attacks and I would deal only 4 points of damage. Okay, so I'm gonna defeat this one. I received 2 experience points, so 1 and 2. We are close to reaching the 14th point here, and we've spent all our 3 cards. So I'm gonna take the one with improve to store and the other one to remove. Now it's enemy turn. So corrupted spider attacks. We receive 1 point of damage to our defense. We remove 1 draw deck card as per his disarm ability. Now the raised bow bearer attacks. He deals 2 points of damage. We become undefended. Okay, we add up to 6 cards now to our hand. And I'm saving this one for the boss. Maybe it will help us somehow. I am using Pierce ability on this one, which means that increase damage dealt by this card to a single target by the number of the same type of attack cards in your hand. So basically, 1 point of damage, 2, 3, 4. 1 point because he has already a value of 1, and we increase it by the amount of other, well, not amount, but the number of other cards of the same type. So 1, 2, 3 plus 1 equals 4. So we deal 4 points of damage times 2, we deal 8 points of damage, and we will throw for the race ability. He did not manage to survive, and that means that we get 2 points of experience. Okay, we are at 16 now, and we receive a skill card because of moving past a certain point. Redo a Phaetos. That can be useful if we don't have too much luck. Okay, and now we have the last guy. I'm gonna just get rid of the focus card and this one. So 2 points of damage to the corrupted spider. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one. deals 1 point of damage to me, and I remove one draw deck, purpose, disarmability. Now I add 1, 2, and 3 cards, and I'm gonna go and so I'm gonna use this card, which deals 2 points of damage, and this one that deals 1 point of damage. I'm gonna save already the one that deals 2 points of damage and remove the one with 1 point of damage, just so I don't forget. And I'm gonna add myself 2 cards. So this one is removed because it has been defeated. I've dealt 5 points of damage total, because I've added now 3 points of damage, so it's 5. 2 experience points for me. Okay. It was our third icon. We add 3 Blight, so we are 1, 2, and we would increase by 1, but as per rules, we remove any excess in Blight that we cannot add to our track by removing an enemy card, which means that we are getting closer to the more difficult ones that are underneath, which basically means that I really need to speed it up to get to the final encounter. Okay, another one, gain 5 experience in an encounter. I'm going to actually change that because I'm just doing a quick descent, which means that I'm going to be only defeating one boss, not more. So this one isn't really the greatest side quest to have. So I'm going to replace it with this one, because that might be something good soon. So I won't be speeding up with the enemies. Okay, so I'm done here. Explore phase again. We're going here because I want to go to the rest and moving here. Okay, so first one is event. Decision. A blighted woman wanders through the depths. She asks if you've seen her daughter and can point the way for her. What do you tell her? So you lie or either tell the truth. So this, you pick one. You don't have any third option to just not do it unless you have a special skill card, I believe. So I'm gonna go and lie because I want the XP now, and I'm at the end. So let's try that. Okay, so I get 4 experience points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a third skill, and I increase to Blight, which basically means that I remove 1 and 2 enemies. Okay. So we've finished one event. Now we're going to take the second one. Is a decision also. So we have you see a creature bleeding out from some mysterious wound, clearly suffering. What do? You leave it or do you help it? I'm going to be pure evil, so I'm going to just get the XP. So +1 Blight. So 3, 1, 2, 3. We remove 1 card per Blight because we don't have any Blight to increase. We went through the another hand icon, which kind of tells you to take the skill. So lose 2 Blight when resting. We're going to lose it soon enough because now we have our rest. So now we have 24 points of experience which we can spend. So I'm going to go on a buying spree. I'm going to just go back to 3. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare myself for the boss. Estimating what kind of cards I might have still in the deck. I'm going to try and increase my spell here, so that will cost me 14. So I'm going to be left with 10. It's here. Okay. So I have still 10 points of experience left. And I'm going to take max health. So I increase my max health to 8. So I increase by the difference, so 2, 1, and 2. And I am left with 2 points of experience. And I'm not going to do anything more, maybe except pay the last remaining for the last remaining wound. So 1 and 2, healing wounds, some full health, full defense, stacked up with my spell here on 2. Okay, let's do it. So this has been resolved, and I believe that no, well, I increased the Blight by 4, so I'm gonna be really close. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still, I know I'm on the edge of getting the second aims, so hopefully I'm not gonna take, well, it's not really possible for me. Well, sorry, one, I forgot that we still have an encounter to make, so I'm gonna definitely get the second level, I'm kind of 100% sure. So, encounter 4 enemies, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'm gonna just put it here. Okay, 4 enemies. We have Parasitic Mantra, which we've seen with first strike. We have a new enemy that we haven't seen, a Gerlin, which has 2 vulnerabilities for each of the damage type, but a lot of health, and has a scatter ability. If at the end of any combat turn, Gerlin's health is below 8, defeated but awarded experience. So that basically means that he can run away when damaged to a threshold, and you will not get experience from him when he does so. So you have another Corrupted Spider, but this time with Explode, which means that if you defeat it, it attacks all enemies and players, and Flashlight. But now let's test out our new powers with Melodier. Spell here at 2. So let's remove this card. Well, okay, so I can defeat, so I'm gonna go and use this one, which with combination, which basically means that I should use 3 cards prior to using this one that has this order. Those are basically icons of damage type that you need to deal, cards that you need to use. So 3 spell cards, but I don't have those. I am missing 1 card to do that, but I want to use it right now to defeat this enemy outright, because now I'm using, as per my spell here says 2, so I'm going to be using the middle one, which is 2 damage, and as he has 2 points of vulnerability, it will outright kill him, defeat him. It's good because he has first strike, so we've managed to avoid 2 points of damage at the beginning. Okay, so this one has been defeated, 1 point of experience for me. That's the first one I'm doing. Another one is, let me check my cards here. Okay, I forgot to use the -2 Blight when resting. That would have probably saved me, but I'm not going to redo it just for the sake of it. Because if I forget, I pay the price. That's what Ruins is about. Taking the most out of your opportunities, your cards, and your strategy. And now I'm interested the most in Corrupted Spider. I don't really care right now about the experience because I'm already at the end, so I'm just gonna try to minimize the damage I take. So I'm gonna attack that one with this one, which deals 2 points of damage to Gerlin, and I'm not going to be pursuing it. So this one, and I'm going to be using my melee weakness on Corrupted Spider. So I'm dealing 1 point of damage to him. I've dealt 4 to Gerlin, and I'm using my melee weakness. Well, actually this card does 2 points of damage, which 2 points of damage plus 1 for this, so 3 points of damage equals 6. And now I'm using melee weakness on Corrupted Spider, so I've added 1 for the damage, rolling the dice for melee weakness, which increases the target's melee vulnerability by 1 if undefended. Doesn't affect this card's damage. So I damage, I use effect. Okay, so he is not this one. Where is it? Here. So I increase his melee vulnerability to 2. Okay. So I've used 3 cards, saving the one with Pierce, removing those 2. Okay. And now we are resolving the Gerlin's ability, because it says at end of any combat turn. So his health is currently at he receives 6 points of damage. His base health was 10, so he's at 4 points of damage. So he is, as per the scatter rule says, if he is below 8 health, defeated but award no experience. So if we defeated him in basically 1 turn or 2 turns by doing it smartly, like dealing and not only 2 points of damage and then dealing the rest in another one, then we would have taken the 3 points of experience home, but I don't care right now about it. Okay, so we've defeated this one. Well, he ran away. Now we have those 2. He attacks with 1 point of damage, so we're down to 2 armor, all defense. Next we have the Fleshling. He attacks and deals 2 points of damage, so we're at 0, we are undefended. Now we fill up our hand to 3, and we have 2 new cards with abilities and 1 without. I have also Cleanse card, which doesn't have any damage at this point, but is decreasing our vulnerability. None of those actually give us that, so actually I'm just going to try to defeat him. So I'm going to go and use this card. You may draw up to 3 blinded cards to deal an additional point of damage for each drawn card. So I draw, I only can draw as many as, well, 2 is enough. No, I need to take 3, all of them, to deal enough damage to him. So I draw 3 blinded cards and put them into stored action cards. Okay, so I've used that. This enemy is defeated because we dealt 3 times 2, 6 points of damage because of his vulnerability. The enemy is defeated, but he has ability to explode, which means that I take 1 point of damage and the other enemy takes 1 point of damage. Okay. now, that was our first action card. And okay, so we use this card, and we have another two attacks to use. This one I like. Now those two cards. Okay, I'm gonna use this card with infuse ability. After using this card, increase the damage of cards with no ability by the character level until the end of your turn. Too bad I don't have more of them, of these kind of cards, so I'm using this card on him, so we deal 1 point of damage. I'm using this card on him, which base damage is 2. But because of this ability, we deal an additional, oh sorry, one more for the melee tier. So 1 for this card, 3 for this card, plus we get their character level increase, so 1. So we've dealt a total of 6 damage. So I'm gonna take this one and remove those. And now it's his turn. I'm just gonna add my cards back just for the sake of it, to make it faster. He deals 2 points of damage, I lose 2, I'm at 5 right now. Neuron starts, and now he has 6, and I have a card Strive. Spend 2 experience points to increase the card's damage by 2, which would be 4 points of damage, but I don't want to use that. I know he's at 2. Okay, I'm gonna use Cleanse just to remove it, and I'm gonna go and use this card to deal 2 points of damage and defeat him, and I'm gonna save this card. So he's defeated. 1, 2, 3. Not receiving anything. I get my oops, sorry, wrong deck. These 2. Now I'm increasing my starting defense to the base value, to the starting value, and now I am done. I have gained 5 experience points in 1 encounter, so I removed 2 Blight. Okay, so I'm lower. And now I go to the last token. So we have an encounter with 3 enemies. 1, 2, oh. This might be hard. But we increase by 4 from this one. So we basically are up by 2. So I have 3, 4 level 2 enemies. Okay, let's see. Okay, that might be good. So I have 4 level enemies right at the start. That won't be good, I can tell you that. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna retreat from this fight, because I'm most likely not going to survive. So I'm gonna go and pay 2 retreat cost, 2 retreat cost, 2 retreat cost, and 2 retreat cost. So I'm gonna pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards to retreat from this encounter and just forget about it. Just for the sake, I'm just gonna read out this enemy's ability, which is Drain Life, which is when the mourner deals damage to an undefended player, make a fate toss. If successful, it heals the amount of the damage dealt. So when this enemy attacks me or someone I play with in a co-op, if I'm undefended, which means that I have 0 defense, undefended state is then she would be able to deal damage to me and then roll a dice, and upon success, as we rolled now, she would heal the amount she dealt damage, basically 2 or more, depending if there are enemies that can increase the damage or not. Okay, so I run away, not receiving any experience from that encounter, and I'm glad. But I lost a lot of cards, so as you can see, my pile is really tiny. And now we have an encounter, event. Okay, so you found water, but alas, a rotting corpse flows within it. What do you do? Do I leave, or do I leave the body alone, or do I pull it out? I'm gonna go and just leave it. So I'm gonna get 2 points of experience and 1 blight. Doesn't really matter now that much in the last one, because I'm not gonna be playing through the second level. So now this has been resolved. I increased 2. Just for the sake, I'll go with the rules and remove 2 for the blight that was added but hasn't have any space for it on the track. Resolve token with an encounter. Doesn't really matter for me, so I'm just gonna put that here and remove that. And now, on the last point, we have draw next in order boss card. Once the boss has been defeated, set the blight tracker to 0 and re-add the token to the map. Okay, so next in order is, it says Colmond and Varmas. So I'm gonna go take Colmond and Varmas, Colmond and Varmas. Basically, if I take one, they have an icon, P. That means that this has a partner. So we need to take a card of the same level that has P on the other side. Currently, those are the only ones that have that available for them. So we have 2. They serve as 1 boss, but it's 2. So now this is serious. So Varmas has a special ability of important target, which means that players cannot attack other enemies until at least 1 damage is dealt to Varmas. This one, Colmond, has double hit upon success. So Colmond attacks twice, or attacks each player once in co-op, or he has penetrate. Colmond deals damage directly to the target player, health ignoring defense. So when he attacks, he rolls a dice and looks at the outcome. Okay, let's start the final encounter. Okay, so I'm gonna use I'm using Whirlwind on this enemy, so he gets the damage dealt to him first. So he takes 2 points of damage, and this other guy, Colmond, receives 2 points of damage also. So now the rule of him taking the damage first is applied, so we can attack freely Colmond. So I'm going to go and attack Colmond with stun ability. So I'm dealing 2 points of damage. Okay, lucky roll, but that's good. So he's stunned, so he won't be able to attack me. That's 2. And now I'm going to go and use Strive which is which I can add for additional 2 experience points. I am able to add 2 damage to this card. Okay, so I am using that card and spending the additional to get the additional damage. So from 8 to 6, 2 experience points spent. So this one will do 4 points of damage to Coleman. So 8. Okay. Okay. So I'm done. I'm gonna go and put the. I'm gonna go with the stand and remove the other ones. Now it's their turn. So Coleman would like to attack, but he cannot. He's stunned. Nothing happens. Varmas attacks. I lose 2 points of defense, and that's it. Now my turn. I have all 6 cards in my hand now, and I am okay. So I'm using this card on Varmas, which deals 2 points of damage to him, and this turn increased the tier of the next action card played by 1. I'm gonna use this one. By 1. Yes, I'm gonna use that one on him, so additional 3 points of damage. So he will have 11. And to deal the last damage to Coleman. So he has been defeated. I get the 4th experience. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not getting the reward right now because they are treated as one boss. So I'm gonna only receive the reward after defeating Varmas too. So I'm done with the round here. I'm gonna save, improve, remove the other ones, add the cards remaining. Okay, so now he attacks me, I lose 2 health. Okay, and now so I deal I use Braveheart, deal an additional point of damage for every 2 missing health points. So I'm missing 1, 2. So 4 damage to Varmas, which he has 8 now damage. Now I'm gonna go and use this to use attack potential. So 1 from crackle level plus 1 equals 2. So I'm trying to wear him down, and I'm gonna use Death's Door, which is the card that I've been saving for the whole time. You may reduce your health by 4 points to not deal any and receive any damage. Ooh, I haven't thought about that. Forgot that he has that penalty of 4, so I can't use that. So I'm gonna go and use just the standard double attack, which deals 2 points of damage to one target, or I can attack each enemy once. So another 2 damage to Varmas. So he's now left with 4 health points. So he attacks. I have 1 health left. I'm removing those. Probably would have been better to stay with the Braveheart till the end and use that, but you know. You never know. Okay, so I put that here, removed. And now in my draw deck I'm now currently adding cards to my hand, and in my draw deck I don't have any card left. 1 and 2 last cards in my draw deck. So now I am taking the stored action cards, the cards that we've been saving for the whole time, which means that those more or less are the cards that we want, and we are shuffling them. And we're putting them in the draw deck space, so we have our new deck. And we put down the last card, so we have card with peers. So we can use this card, double hit again, so we give 2 points of damage to Varmas, and I can kinda already say that we won with the last hit on Varmas, bringing him down to his knees with the last basically opportunity to do so, because he would have defeated us with his last hit, as we have only 1 point of health remaining. Varmas has been defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have defeated the quick descent. We are also receiving the reward from defeating the boss. So special action card to our hand. Currently we have too many cards, so we will have to either store one or remove one. So I'm going to go and store this one. Now, if you're interested how to proceed from that, and if you have found out you have a little bit more time, and you want to either turn it into a full descent game, or just want to try another level, next video will help you how to set it up and get ready to play.